And welcome back to Factorio. This is my series that I now have. I now have a name for this. This is the I don't know what I'm doing megabase, because that is the final goal for this. Is I would like to build a megabase, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So, come along for the ride. You can watch me and not know what I'm doing. It'll be fun, I swear. It will be humorous. So, last time we left off, we had laid down our resource miners on coal and copper and iron over here. There's the iron. And we'd connected it into this blueprint for starting red and green science and the very beginnings of a mall. So, what we need to do is finish off this mall and finish off our science so we can start researching more than just red science, because at the moment our science is being provided by 2 science labs way over here near our steam engines, and it's just not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. So the goal of Factorio, if you have not played this and you're not familiar, the goal of Factorio is to launch a rocket into space. You get to the rocket through the tech tree, and you have to climb through the tech tree all the way down to the rocket silo. So we need 5 5 levels of rocket shooting speed, 3 speed modules, etc., all the way up to things like advanced electronics, explosives, flammables, oil processing, etc. This is all of the tech tree necessary to launch the rocket. Now, of course, to make the speed module, you need quite a bit of things, quite a few things along the way, plastics, etc. Anyway, so we're currently not terribly far through the tech tree. We don't have turrets or walls or military yet. And actually, let's research this one because that gives us military 2, which will give us grenades, which are most useful, honestly, for getting rid of trees, although they're pretty fun to lob at biter nests. So let's go with military. As you saw in the previous video, we are set up in peaceful mode, so we don't see any biters on our map yet, although our pollution is starting to spread out. If this were not peaceful mode, biters would start smelling our pollution and becoming agitated. Oops, I want half of those in there. Put another stack in there. There, perfect. I'll let that continue doing its thing. So, apologies for the darkness. There are very few mods that work with 0.16, and for example, Afraid of the Dark does not work in 0.16. Otherwise, that would be a really great addition for YouTubing, because it's really difficult to see things at night. But I'll throw some lights in here. That should make things a little easier for y'all to see. Okay, so military's done, and military 2 needs steel processing. We're going to need steel anyway. We need steel to give us trains. And medium power poles, which both are really excellent things to have. Okay, so we can take a closer look at this I'm going to throw in these power poles and lights so we can see what the heck is going on, because it's the middle of the night. That's the nice part about blueprints, is you know exactly where all the power poles are going to go. Right, so you can see here, of course, now it's morning, so the lights turn off. My life, that is my life in a nutshell. I'll put down these lights. We're going to turn off. Oh, okay. So, you can see we've got these 2 rows of assembly machines here that have recipes for red and green science in them. And these are going to feed into this central belt. The only reason that this is 2 belts instead of 1 belt is that we have buffer chests here. And I really just want these to buffer, like, I don't know, these are stacks of 200. Let's just buffer 400 science on each. So you can change the amount of the maximum number of things that will go into a chest from your machines by using this X. That's really handy. So these won't overproduce. We'll fill these 2 chests with 400 science each, and then we'll back up the belt, and that's it. It'll stop making science. Which is good, because science is expensive. It takes a lot of production to make science. But we want that 400 science buffer because we are feeding 25 labs instead of 2 labs. You can see how slowly steel processing is going. Yeah, let's get these online like ASAP. Once, I'm gonna guess that I don't... Yeah, so I can't automate the production of labs at the moment. But let's put down 5 labs. And I have 6 inserters. Let's make... let's fill the whole thing out. That's 25 inserters. The only downside is that these labs take so long to build. So long. Let's see, some of these machines are disconnected. Let's start making green chips, because those are really handy to have around. Okay, so... plop down some more of our labs. So I have, you can see in my blueprint that I have these assembly machines set up to produce labs. Now the thing is, labs need 3 ingredients. Let's go to my inventory. You can see labs need 3 things. They need electronic circuits, iron gear wheels, and transport belts. Now the thing about these assembly machines is the ones that you start out with by getting automation 1 can only make things that need 2 ingredients. So, we need automation 2 to give us blue assembly machines, or assembly machine 2, that can craft up to 4 ingredients. Which is nice, because that also means it can craft itself, since assembly machine 2 takes 4 ingredients. So that's fun. So we'll start that researching. Meanwhile, we'll continue making labs in our pocket, which is not the best way to do this. But let's fill out this grid of inserters. So this is kind of a cool layout. I had no idea that labs did this. My previous lab systems, feeding science into labs, used like big sushi belts that went out around the outside of a big complex of labs. And, oh, excuse me. And, oh, shoot. Did I miscount? I must have miscounted. I thought I was building 25. I also, it's early in the morning, I cannot math right now. Let's make some more of these. We need green chips, of course. All right. So, let's pull these out here. Everything that this needs is being produced over here. Oh, except this. That's right, I'm not making gear wheels right now. So let's grab the green chips, and we'll grab some more iron plate. And let's make some more labs. Make one more of these. And that'll give us 2 rows of labs. So the downside of doing science here in this early area is it takes a lot of production. It takes a lot of resources, and it takes a lot of power to do that research. And actually, I have pre-played this map just a little bit to see how things will end up going. Spoiler, they go really nicely. So we're definitely going to stay on this map. This is not my megabase map with no oil on it. This is a good map. So yeah, that makes sense. Let's throw down these labs. So basically, because science requires so much production, we're going to need to optimize our coal mine. Right now it's pretty good, but once we start really hammering our power requirements, we're going to run out of coal. That was the first thing that happened to me. So what I'd like to show you, actually, this is really simple design. This is a prioritizer. So this splits coal off of this upper line. However, the majority of the coal it splits off of the upper line will stay on the upper line, which is good because this goes to our power generation facility, which we don't want to run out of power. That's a very bad place to be, especially because we're going to redo this coal patch to operate with electric miners. We want to make sure we don't run out of power that way. Otherwise we run out of fuel. If we run out of fuel, we run out of electricity, and we run out of miners. And then it just ends up being a catastrophic failure of the system. So, pardon me, let me take a drink of water here. I swear, it's super fun to be congested all the time. 100% of the time. It's great. Totally recommend it. Ugh. Okay, so automation 2 is almost done. This is super slow. We can build some more labs. We have enough resources to build 5 more labs. These can actually be yellow assemblers or brown assemblers, they don't have to be assembly machine 2s. I could do that too. Let's do that. Let's start making scions. So we need a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 6 on one, 7 on another. That is the perfect ratio for science development. So, 4, 5, 10, 13. And automation 2 finished just in time. Beautiful. Make sure I don't have any of these sitting in my inventory. I do, of course I do. So I'll have overproduced, and that's fine. But we can start. Oh, darn it! I need more assembler. I need more inserters. Oh, stop! I want the inserters. Gonna need this one to make us gears. Need a blue assembler. Need green chips. Of course we need green chips. How do you not? Oh, I didn't fill in all the power poles. That's silly. Okay, we need a blue assembler to give us... Oops, that's the wrong way around. So that will have all of its stuff it needs once I have assemblers. Oh, come on. You're close enough. Okay, blue assembler. Alright, and these are going to need lots of inserters to go faster. There we go. Good lord. What do you need? What are you not getting? Green chips. I need to prioritize you with a second, right? Oh no, you are building. Okay. It's very slowly. There we go. Okay. OMG. You're not building because I neglected to put you in place. Okay. We have functional science down here now. So you can see what happens. We have a whole bunch of science queued up on our belt here. So let's watch what happens when I start some new research. Let's do turrets, because it's a good idea. So you can see the labs pass the science down to the last lab that needs that science. Also, having this many labs makes early research really, really, really fast. Really fast. Alright, and now we're getting green science on the belt, which means our old science setup is totally defunct and pointless. So let's go tear it down and take those labs and assembly machines and use them in our new science setup. Oh, I took out a power pole I shouldn't have. There it is. That makes things grind to a halt quickly. Just disconnect all your power. It's great. It's a great idea. So if we want to optimize how well this works in the early stages, if we pull these labs and put them down here, because you can see red science likes to hang out at the end of the belt. Okay, so let's actually pick this one up and put down our ghost images again. So that these stop trying to fill. If there's a ghost image down, an inserter won't put anything into it, which is really convenient. Of course, when you remove the actual item and there's no ghost image there, things fall apart. Anyway, let's put down the rest of the red science assemblers, so we can start increasing the amount of red science we're making. And I don't think I have more assemblers in my inventory. I don't. So let's build 4 more. Okay, so now we have red and green science, and we just have to fill out these labs. Let's use our fancy new assembly machines to do that for us, because they're quite a bit faster making labs than we are. To do this, I'm just going to make these manually, so I'll just fill it with belts, take half of my stack of electronic circuits, half of my stack of gear wheels. Alright, and they need somewhere to put them. There we go. Beautiful. I have 6 of them already. Gear wheels. Need lots of gear wheels. So 8 labs. You can see that took like no time at all. So we just need 3 more. Perfect. So I think we have enough gear wheels between the 2 machines to make the last 3. Oh, just not enough. We just need 30. Okay, so put you in there. We need 30 transport belts, so we'll put a half a stack in there. Need more green chips. Always need more green chips. If you've followed along with the previous episode and downloaded the blueprint book, you know that if you've looked at it, you know that there is a blueprint in there for green chip assembly. It is a crucial component of a lot of designs in the mid and later game, especially because green chips are needed for making red chips, which are used in pretty much everything late game. Okay, so I'm just going to handcraft 9 more green chips. While I'm doing that, I'll grab these 2 labs, place them down. Multitasking. This is multitasking the game. There we go. Beautiful. Now let's switch these over to use, or to produce, oh shoot, we didn't get grenades yet. Perfect opportunity to use our new labs. So we want grenades. That is military 2. Grenade. Research. Look at it go. It's like, what did I do wrong with the middle row? Like, no, it just doesn't have any science. There we go. And it's already done. Yeah, this is a great little setup. This little blueprint is fantastic. So let's set these to research grenades, or to build grenades. We don't need to research them, we just did. To speed things along, I'm going to build some fast inserters. Actually, I'm going to throw some fast inserters all over the place to speed some things up. There are some choke points in this production system that can be alleviated at least a little bit by using fast inserters, such as the amount of coal that these things need, because they need 10 coal. I think twice as much coal as they need iron plate. Gear wheels as well, because they take so little time to craft. They take a half a second to craft and they need 2 iron plates. We can optimize that pretty nicely by throwing 1 fast inserter in there. Inserters are also pretty quick to craft. We are waiting on, oh, they need, yeah, this needs copper cable fast. There we go. So that's much better. This is basically building, yeah, this is running flat out. So let's replace this with a blue assembly machine. They're a little faster than the normal assembly machines. Stop building fast inserters for the moment. If you really want a speed boost, replacing all of these assemblers with blue assemblers makes your science production much, much faster. Yeah, considering this is... Yeah, it's basically running flat out. Why is it waiting for material? Are we running low on power? No. Oh, these machines must not be requesting anything. You know, it's not in the blueprint, but maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to save some of these gears. What is a stack of gears? 100 gears? Let's save 500 gears. Okay, so speaking of power, yeah, so if we start researching something, let's do something like this. Steel furnaces. This is going to put some serious load on our production and power generation facilities, so we need to upgrade these pretty quickly. We should have a full belt of coal coming out of here. Instead of relying on this being backed up from non-production, we should be able to saturate a belt. Like I said, I pre-played this map a little bit, and it's not possible to saturate a yellow belt completely, like compress it fully saturated on this patch, but you can get close. So why don't we do that? Why don't we optimize our coal patch right away? Because eventually, once we have enough grenades, we don't really need a ton of them. There aren't a lot of trees around here. We have a few, but not a ton. Oh yeah, and this is something that the map can do. If you have radars placed down, or you're standing in an area, you can zoom into an area of the map and you can see things. The nice part about this is that you can also place things via ghost image. So once you have construction robots, you can build remotely without ever walking over to that area and building. Alright, so we have steel furnaces. Okay, so to build electric mining drills. Alright, to saturate a belt, a yellow belt, takes it's 13 miners, 13 electric mining drills per side of the belt. So let's make 26 miners. I don't have any others in my inventory. Good. 6, 11, 16, 26. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I think, because I can do this while this is crafting in my pocket, is I'm going to... Oh, shoot. Of course, now you can't see anything. Okay. Let's also... Oh, where did my... There's my lights. Oh, my copper patch is out of power. Let's put your power in there. There we go. Much better. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do actually is... let's put that blueprint away. I want my super balancer. It's an inline balancer. What this does is this will balance the incoming and outgoing lines. So if we have unbalanced production, like we have too many things coming in on one side of the belt versus another, so we're backing up one side of a belt, this balancer will balance that. And it does it pretty effectively. It's one of the reasons I like it so much. So let's throw this down really quickly. It takes a couple of splitters and 2 undergrounds. This is interesting. You actually just remove that underground. Okay, so it's going to be more important to have this here once we start increasing the output from this coal patch. But I think we have, yeah, we've starved enough of this system that you can, oh, nope, you can't. You can't quite see what it'll do with that priority splitter down there. So I have a bunch of coal in my inventory. So what I'm going to do, we're going to tear up all of this. And so that we don't completely starve our machines downstream, I'm going to take some of that coal that's in my inventory and put it on the belt manually. We can do that with the burner inserters we just picked up. Perfect. I have no boxes. I have no boxes. So with this patch, I think I want to bisect it. And we're going to have miners going all the way out to the very edges. So I think we'll have, so that'll get 540, 1.2 thousand. We could actually put a couple of miners up here. Yeah, we're going to suck this patch dry completely. So we can do that. Ha, that'll get 1,000. Ha, that's funny. Okay, so let's do that and that. We need to leave a space for power. Do we need to leave a space for power? If we power this there, that gets those, and that gets those. No, we don't technically have to leave a space for power, which is good, because that means we can cram more miners onto this tiny little chunk. If we put power here, then we can run power over to the edge, I think, and have power over here as well. This remains unpowered though, I think. Yeah, that one's going to remain unpowered. We can move this. Erg. Now if we do that, they'll have to point, they're going to have to point that way. Right, I don't want to completely starve our machines. Boxes, which I'm sure I'm already doing. So if you control right click, you'll put half of whatever you're clicking on into the box in question. So like shift right click will take half of that stack you're looking at and move it. Control right click takes half of everything you have in your inventory of that item. And then left click does your whole inventory or that whole stack of items. Okay, anyway. Okay, some power, and these start mining. I'm going to need to power those here. So the nice part about using a balancer at the bottom is we can make this patch a little uneven in terms of miners and symmetry, which is fine. we do that. How that actually pulls up a 700 coal, that's hilarious. That is funny. Alright, so getting power to these. I should be able to do that. Yeah, this won't completely saturate a belt. But it should do a pretty good job of filling this belt and extracting as much as we possibly can from this coal patch. Yeah, you can see we are heavily dependent on one side, or our production is definitely heavily skewed onto one side. I'm gonna have to move these over. Okay, let's move these 3 over. That's fine, because I think they will still produce. Yeah, that'll still make 4,000 coal. That is fine. Now those are all powered. Okay. That is just about the most we can get out of this patch. And you can see here on the output, we're doing pretty well. Although we're not compressed. We can just about fill out that belt, which is significantly more throughput than we had before. Yeah, if you go back in this video and look at the belt before I pulled out all of those burner miners, yeah, we were doing not so great before. And now we're doing quite nicely. And now you can see what this does. We have one lane backed up on our power belt. So we have basically one full lane going down to our smelters. But of this lane, only about a third of it is actually going down to the smelters until this backs up. And now the smelters get everything. So that prioritizes our power production, which is good. That's what we want. Speaking of power production, we're at about 50% usage, so this might be a good time. I don't have a whole lot of iron plate on me, but now might be a good time to expand this, our 10 steam engines. So I don't know if I explained it in the last video or not, but one offshore pump, which is what we have over there, which is pulling water out of that lake, one offshore pump can support up to 5 boilers. Oh, these are all empty. Hey, this is actually working. We have good production coming through. There's no extra production sitting in our furnaces. That is a good sign. So one offshore pump can support 20 boilers. This is apparently, this comes from Factorio metagamers that love to 100% the game. But one offshore pump, for us, it just means convenience, because we can just build one offshore pump, at least for now. One offshore pump can support up to 20 boilers. Each boiler supports up to 2 steam engines. So we've got, we can do 20 boilers and 40 steam engines off of that one offshore pump. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to build another 5 boilers. And then another 20 steam engines as I wait to collect iron plate off of this belt. This is super riveting. I'll just take the extra copper, that's fine. 19. Oh, darn it. 20. Okay, perfect. Start making those on our way over there. We have 2 burner inserters in our inventory. We can make 1 more. I'm going to need 2 more burner inserters. Darn it. I'm going to grab these 2 over here and just consolidate these. Yeah, because these are almost out of coal anyway. Perfect. Well, that worked really well. So then I have... Oh, I'm building one. I'm like, I have 4. How do I not have 5? Right. I will be building one. Oh, I'm gonna need pipes too. Darn it. I just need a couple of pipes, but they need iron plates. So you can run along a belt and hold down F. The F key will give you whatever is on the ground around you. So like if you pull up an assembly machine and the inserters next to it start laying materials on the ground, you can pick those up with F. And it's really dark over here. I'm sorry. Let's make it not dark. Okay. Oh, we're still building these things. Okay, well let's lay out at least some of these burner inserters. So these go by 3 by 2. Okay, so 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bring our belt up. We're going to have to put in 1 more of these. We've got some of our boilers. All of our boilers are built. Beautiful. Trying to make these 1-hour episodes. So I apologize for the brevity of this. I'm not explaining everything as I'm going. Basically, boilers get filled with coal or some kind of fuel. They can be filled with wood as well. Wood, wooden power poles, whatever. Grab our steam engines. They heat water and turn it into steam, assuming they're given enough fuel. And steam can then be used in either steam engines or steam turbines to generate electricity. And these steam engines have to be hooked up to your power grid before they'll actually start doing anything. And I'm adding power poles over on this side for the eventual use or inclusion of electric inserters. Because these burner inserters are convenient, but they're slow, and at some point we're going to start hitting the cap of what these 10 steam engines can provide us, and when we get there, it may be more efficient to just, or more effective to just replace these burner inserters with electric inserters to keep the boilers fed. So we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that gives us, if we start researching something, let's do, sure, concrete. It's a lot of research for concrete. I'm sure concrete is really complicated. But if we max out all of our systems, yeah, that's good. We're about 1/4 of utilization. That's excellent. That means we have room to grow, which is good. Alright, so we are coming up to 50 minutes on this recording. This is not the end of this base. However, it's the end of this area. This area here is basically finished, with the exception of changing our grenades over to steel. We're basically done with this area, which means we need to start planning our main bus. A staple of a megabase is a main bus. And the main bus is basically huge ribbons of raw materials moving across the landscape, and when you need to build something off of your main bus, you can use main bus taps to pull materials off of it. So this is a main bus tap that I like to use. Darn it. Ghost images won't overwrite ghost images, which is annoying. So it makes sense in my mind that it should. So you can tap off of your main bus and pull an entire belt of whatever material you need. You can do this through the other pieces of the main bus as well. So like if you need to pull one of, say this is green chips and this is iron, smelted iron. I didn't do that quite right. You can smelted iron. Iron plate is smelted iron. Thanks, brain. Good to know you're still in this fight. You can do it this way, either by cutting through your belt with undergrounds, or of course you can go over or underneath a belt, one of these main bus belts, using undergrounds as well. But that'll give you everything you need, so you build your prerequisite materials, and then come down and build your actual item that you're looking for off of this main bus. And the key to a successful main bus is planning and space. A lot of space. So, speaking of planning, we still only have our starting area mapped out. We can assist ourselves with this by laying down radars. God, I still have 10 steam engines. I made too many steam engines. I'm a dork. By throwing down some radars, you can expand your visible distance, and then you can also get that map view where you can actually see what's going on in an area. And you can get that through radar. So that'll be part of the next series, is we're going to lay down radar, but right now we have 5 minutes of this stream left or so. We can run over just a little bit. I want to plan out where we're going to anticipate the main bus being. And actually, that's a bad idea because I can't see everything. I know we're going to draw from this iron ore deposit, but we can't see any of the other ore deposits that we know are in the map from when we generated the map. So actually the next thing to do is going to be building radars, so we have more of our map visible and we can start to plan. Drop that science in there. What else can I get rid of? I still have a little coal in my inventory. Let's put you in there. Some stone. I have stone in my inventory. Did I do anything with these? Oh, no, I didn't. Ha! These are actually going to come in handy at some point fairly soon. This little stone patch down here that has been neglected for forever and ever and ever is actually going to, it's going to have a pretty big role to play before long. So let's build this out really quickly while we're here. Make stone furnaces. Even though I have steel furnaces are really expensive right now because I have no steel production. So one steel plate takes 5 iron plates. So each steel furnace, takes, what is that, 48? 6, 12, 24. No, it's 5. It's 5 iron plates. It takes 30 iron plates and stone bricks, so I have to smelt stone into stone bricks. We'll get there eventually, and we can just upgrade all of our smelting to steel furnaces. It makes more sense to just stick with stone for now because they're really inexpensive to make. Okay, so speaking of stone, let's get this started. Throw down our container. We just need power. And then these just need to be connected. There we go. So all that stone in my inventory, I'm just going to feed it straight into the machine. We'll just use a regular inserter. I'm not going to waste a fast inserter on that. Dump in my stone because I don't need it. Clears out a lot of my inventory. These are all going to be full. Yeah, these are all full of copper plate. I have too much copper plate. Let's put you in here. Now put... It's not doing what I want it to do. Okay. I mean, it'll fill with fuel, but it won't fill with copper plates, which is, I guess, that kind of makes sense. Anyway, yeah, so radars. Radars are pretty simple. What I want to do on this map is, we've got basically a square. And this is our main base here, this area. So I want to put a radar down here, so we always have this area active. But then I want to put down 8 radars around it, so we get a view of our surrounding area. And what radars are going to do is they'll give us active view of this, about a little bit more than this much area. And then they'll also start, they'll also start scanning adjacent areas. So we should be able to easily double our visible map area in both directions with 9 radars placed around here. So that is going to be the last thing I do here. We're getting to the end of the video, so I'm going to do this off camera. But radars are made in the combat section. They're pretty simple actually, some gear wheels, electronic circuits, and iron plates. They're not terribly awful to make. So that'll be my first radar. We'll drop it right in here. And you can see our visible area goes out 1 more square. So we have 1 more square of actively visible area. We can see our steam engines from here now, which we couldn't before. But also, let's see if it'll start doing it. it should start scanning out at the edge of its vision range and expanding the map. There it is. There it's starting to scan. So these won't stay active, but we eventually will be able to see more of the landscape around us. Alright, so that'll do it for this installment of I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to build a mega base. Please join me for the next episode where I will have all of this radar built out and we can start to plan where we'll build our main bus. So, with that, have a lovely day and stay awesome. Thank you for watching.